Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be sharing about, he's been bringing me the word cold a lot, and he's been bringing me different viewpoints on it. And so I did a word, I think a couple weeks ago, the 777 word, where it was speaking about the heart growing cold towards promises because you've been waiting for so long. And so that was one side of it. But now it seems like there's like a tug of war when it comes to what he's been speaking about is the godly relationships that he's bringing together. The enemy is trying everything he can to keep them apart. And so, you know, being a little bit skeptical about new relationships and marriage and all that stuff that comes with it. You know, God speaks a lot about, you know, when you're going through this healing process and you're having to unlearn a lot of stuff that you used to depend on in the past, like say certain trauma responses that you have to put up a wall to protect yourself if, you know, if you are not too confident about a certain person, a certain situation. You've depended on yourself for all these years with these habits. You use it to protect your heart, but at the same time, it's like now that God is bringing people together, God is saying, okay, you can't do that anymore. This is a whole nother situation. This is a new beginning. You cannot move in the same way you used to. You cannot be dependent on yourself to protect yourself when it comes to what God is bringing. You know, God is saying you have to trust him. So anyways, in this time, you know, like I was saying, God kept bringing me the word cold. You know, the enemy's trying to make your heart cold in any way he can to try to keep you from coming together. And so for about a week now, it seems like he's been bringing me certain songs. He was bringing me the song of Omarion, and the song is called Icebox. The chorus is basically saying, I have an icebox where my heart used to be. So he's telling this girl that he wants to be with her, he wants to work things out, but because of the past, he doesn't know how to get rid of that fear. He doesn't know how to trust again. And so, and then another song that he gave me, which I feel like he was giving me for the women, was a song by Keisha Cole. And I've never heard this song before, but it was, it's called Long Way Down. So again, now this is the woman's point of view. In the song, she's basically saying the same thing. She's afraid to love again. She's afraid that the patterns from the past is going to happen again. And she's saying it's a long way down. Like she's already anticipating the fall. She's already anticipating the heartbreak, the disappointments. And so again, we turn ourselves cold. We try our best to kind of like protect ourselves and say, no, you know what, Lord, I know what you're saying, but I'm too scared. I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk to them. Especially on the men's part, when it's saying, when God is saying right now, it's the men's job, unless God is telling you something different, but it's the men's turn to approach the woman. That's the way it's supposed to be, right? But for some reason, God was showing me that there's like a tug of war when it comes to the men pursuing the women that they're supposed to marry, that they're supposed to be with. There's a tug of war within themselves because of fear. And another thing that he was showing me was, I saw a Nissan commercial. It was talking about Nissan Rogue, and it was saying extreme potholes. And so I looked into this commercial. I went into the website, and it was showing how these potholes are kind of made when it's winter, so when it's cold, right? So I read a little bit on this, and it says when the winter comes, and then it says when the snow melts, the water seeps into the cracks of the road. And then when the temperature drops again, the water freezes, and then it expands, which ends up rupturing the asphalt over time. And then when you drive over these cracks, it can leave your vehicle with significant damage. So of course, you know, it can mess up your tires, it can mess up your rims, your alignment can get messed up. And then at the bottom it says replace damaged parts with Nissan parts, which is professional installation. So in other words, God is saying right now that there's a lot of fear when it comes to making these relationship moves. And so if you know what Nissan is, it's the Hebrew month, which is a new beginning. And it was funny because I was even driving by the Nissan car dealership, and they had those on the light posts. They have little flags, and it has the Nissan symbol, and then it says on top, it says, "This is the new." So in other words, God was saying everything that he's telling you that is yours right now in the new and your promised land, he's saying, do not fear. You don't have to worry about the past repeating itself. You don't have to worry about this person to be harmful to you. This is something that he has handpicked for you. And so, and also he was saying, you know, with this car, with this commercial, he was saying that this car had been tested so that you would get it at its best. So the person that God is bringing you with has already gone through the testing and has been approved by God himself. So you don't have to fear. You don't have to use your old habits, your old tactics to keep yourself from loving again, from getting into this relationship, because that fear can keep you in bondage. And he was reminding me of the last video where he was saying, do not miss out on this opportunity. Do not let this person be the one that got away because of your fear, because you were too afraid. He was even, I don't know if you guys are getting the number 300. Again, God is saying Gideon. So there's a lot of fear, but at the same time, God is saying, hey, I'm walking you through this. This is from me. You're going to have victory. We can no longer use these old tactics that we've used in the past to protect ourselves. We have to trust God in these new relationships and this new places that he's telling us to move to. Stop trying to protect yourself. This is not something you need to be afraid of. You know, for those of us that have already been told who we're supposed to marry, where we're supposed to live, it's almost like if you don't see the manifestation, you start to want to build your walls up again. And God is saying, no, don't do that. Trust in what I told you. Trust that this person is coming. Trust that this place where I'm sending you to is going to be your promised land. You're going to excel. You're going to do everything that I've told you you're going to accomplish. And so don't let the enemy steal that time away from you. So with this, I pray that this video blessed you guys. If you have a comment, leave it down below, and then I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless.